So you want a haircut and you want it to be androgynous, but you don't really know what to get. My name is Iris. I'm non-binary. I use she, he, they pronouns. I'm sure a lot of you already know that. I've had a range of haircuts from the e-boy haircut back in like 2019 to the wolf cut and now the short shag. I don't know what they call that in the UK. I'm here today to provide a menu of possible options. This is a non-exhaustive list. It doesn't have to be one of these options, but a ton of people asked me to curate some haircut inspo, so here I am. But first, let's talk about androgyny for a second because we need to understand what we are aiming to achieve on an individual basis with our haircuts. Androgyny, by definition, is a combination of masculine and feminine elements. Because of this, there really is no one way to do an androgynous haircut, especially when you factor in other elements of your gender presentation into the equation. Maybe you dress in a more masculine way, but you want a longer, more feminine haircut in order to like balance out the equation. Or maybe you just don't want to look like singularly man or singularly woman. I think with gender presentation, it is a little counterproductive to come up with specific definitions of what looks a certain way coordinated with a specific definition of gender, because gender presentation and behavioral traits are socially determined and can differ based on region and culture and social context. A lot of the time we do it by vibe, and the people who are on the same wavelength as you are going to grasp that when they see you. We clock each other, right? If you're here watching this video, so try not to think too hard. You don't have to justify every choice to every person about like why a haircut even looks androgynous to begin with. You would think that there's a strict definition because there is a strict definition of androgyny, but in practice, with all the elements at play when it comes to gender presentation, it can come through in a lot of different ways. Androgyny, yes, of course, has a definition associated with biological sex, but it also has definitions associated with gender presentation and psychology rather than physiology. You can't just apply one context to another and assume that the same principles lead to the same results, because we're talking about different areas of study and different methods of application here. I gave you guys so much fuel for your comment battles. If someone is hellbent on telling you that your haircut looks feminine when that's not the point and does a disservice to you as a person, it's not on you to come up with an answer and give them something that satisfies them in their own fucked up language. I've done a lot of that in my life, and I'm over it. Because it's not about language. It's not about, oh, well, technically, it's about, I want to be seen as a person. Are you willing to do the work to see me as the person that I am? It's not that hard. Yeah, there are challenges to overcome, but the basis of the starting point, yeah, there's a lot of work that goes into it. That the starting point, that's not a hard choice to make. It's a choice. Okay, let's talk about some hair. Iris is projecting her past relationship problems onto this topic. One thing you need to think about is the length of hair you want, going from like buzz cut to long hair. I really like around this length with the curtain bangs and the side layers and stuff. I like the floppy sides. I like that I can kind of style it in a more masculine way. I can go into boy mode. I like how my earrings look with it. I like that I don't have to brush it. So this is kind of the length that I typically go for. It's a little grown out right now. When my hair gets a bit longer, it's like a beacon for straight men, which sort of isn't a problem because I like men, but also not great in my search for a lover who will partake in the theater of gender with me. Where's the drama? Call me your boyfriend. So that's why I tend to opt for this length, even though I do actually like longer hair as well. I think I look really adorable with it. If you're watching this video and you're thinking about getting your andro haircut, right? Like going from long hair to short hair can be super cathartic, but it's also not for everybody. We don't all need to do that. To people with long hair, like this hair is considered short. To people with hair shorter than mine, this is considered long. It's all relative. But anyway, it's okay to know your limits. If you don't want to like chop off all your hair, that's chill, bro. Especially if you are at the beginning of exploring your gender expression. Like if it's not liberating and just stresses you out, like that's not the choice you want to make. You want to follow your heart, right? When we are exploring gender expression, seek liberation. That is the feeling to seek. And by the way, you don't have to be non-binary to explore your gender expression. This is something that everybody can and should do. And all of this advice is for everyone. I think it's useful for all of us to learn about, because also gender expression isn't directly relational to gender identity always. Oftentimes it's not. When picking a haircut, you also have to think about hair texture and density. If you'd like to learn more about hair textures, I will leave a link to an article in the description, but here is a handy chart for your reference. I have pretty dense, wavy hair, so my hair looks like this naturally. I'm probably like 2B or 2C. There's also straight hair and varying degrees of curly and coily hair, also referred to as natural hair. Natural hair technically refers to any hair that hasn't been chemically processed, but it is often colloquially used to refer to coily hair types. Just wanted to say that's the specific way I'm using that term in this video. even though it can also be used in other ways. So when looking for haircut inspo, we have to look at different texture options based on what hair texture we have if we want to know like for certain what a haircut might look like on us. However, you shouldn't feel restricted to only finding hair inspo from people with like a similar hair texture as you. You can use inspo of haircuts and styles on other hair types and modify it to apply to your own hair as long as you aren't crossing cultural boundaries. For a lot of stylists, you can talk with them to figure out what's gonna look good on your specific hair and head and face. I don't really believe in the whole like face shape framing thing. I don't know, frame your face. I like to frame my face, but I don't think I'm doing it in a specific way based on my face shape. If you're talking with a stylist, they can help you figure out like how long you want these pieces and if you want layers, etc. You know the deal. And if you're getting a haircut and you want it to be more complicated than like a simple men's haircut, I really recommend going to a salon, especially if you are able to. Going to a queer-owned barbershop or salon will be helpful for you. But if you want to go to get a haircut and you really want to like customize that haircut to you, probably you should go to a salon because that is sort of more the vibe than at a barbershop. I know a lot of you are also looking to cut your hair yourself. And if that is the case, I have very little advice for you because I've never cut my own hair. When I was little, my dad cut my bangs though, and I looked adorable. So I know it's possible, guys. If you live in New York City, I go to Nordwick in Williamsburg. I see Robin. It's definitely on the pricey side. I pay a lot for a haircut personally. It's like $150. I know. Everybody. Whew. So let's get into the inspo, right? I feel I've been talking for so long about something. I was saying important things. The Pinterest board with all of these will be linked in the description. Go check it out. I have so many photos on there. I'm not going to put them all in this video. So check out the Pinterest board after you finish watching this, obviously. Let's start with the shortest option. Shaving your head on some people works insanely well. So if you feel called to show the dome, feel free to polish that shit up. But let's go on to the hairstyles with actual hair involved. A basic shortcut might feel kind of boring, but this is where styling makes a huge difference. Get some pomade in there and mess it up. If you can use products that will give you a more texturized look, you're gonna look more like alternative and less like a finance bro. I'm sorry to any finance bros. I might have offended with that comment. You all look so normal. You're so normal. It's amazing. Queerness, which is what a lot of us are. I'm not saying that it's the antithesis of normal. Actually, no, I am saying that. Queerness, which is what a lot of us are trying to embody here. I know my average viewer, okay. Queerness is a rejection of the norm. It is a protest to the reserved. It is rock and roll. It is alternative culture. So we are out here with our mullets and hair sticking in every direction. The mess is the signifier. No, there's not just one way to be queer. Okay, you can be a perfect, lovely femme princess and be queer. I'm just talking about the kind of queer that I am. Okay. We're all here together. I love you all. If you want my curation, this is what I'm talking about. I love my femme girls. I love you. Literally gorgeous. Keep wearing that perfume. I love to smell it. You smell delicious. You smell like a bakery. I just started drooling. I'm so stupid. What the fuck? Keep it together, Iris. We also have the e-boy cut, which is just like floppy short hair, often with curtain bangs. And you can either wear this with like a short back or keep some of the length in the back, but then we're kind of getting into like wolf cut territory a little bit. Wearing these like long texturized bangs forward is definitely in right now. There are a lot of influencer men who are like models who have this hair, so it's popular. You can also get a short or medium haircut with a fade on the sides. It sort of becomes an undercut when your hair gets longer. And I know this is popular with a lot of people. It kind of keeps that mullet shape of like shorter length on the sides and longer on the top and the back. There's so many ways to be hot. The fade also works across hair textures, so it's still gonna look good. For some short protective hairstyles, there are bantu knots, especially the smaller ones. And now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know how long your hair actually has to be to put into those. I'm a little out of my area of expertise here. We can acknowledge that. Twists are also popular and might be a good option if you need a friend to help you do your hair. And locks, obviously, these look great with the fade. I'm sure if you have natural hair, you know your hairstyle options and what actually goes into getting those done way better than I do. But I added a bunch of pictures to the Pinterest board that aren't just like a bunch of fucking wolf cuts. Let's talk about medium length hair, aka kind of like what my hair length is. We are entering the land of the wolf cut and the shag and the mullet. They're basically all siblings to each other. The wolf cut became super popular in 2020 and it was sort of a new iteration of the shag, but the shag is back now. Anyway, the wolf cut consists of, oh fuck. 1 second. I have to peer into my laptop for this information. A wolf cut consists of short choppy layers on top and longer feathered layers at the bottom. The result is a voluminous textured look that's easy to style and maintain. That's what Google says anyway. A hairstylist can tailor the layers to suit your features, hair type, and texture. For example, for fine or thin hair, a barber can use square laying to create internal texture. I don't even know what that is. For curly hair, you can embrace the curls and put a good shape in. For coils, you can go with a fringe style look. I don't exactly know what they mean by fringe style here, but like I said, and repeated by Google AI here, the smartest person in the room. Guys, this is scary. We live in a scary world. You can talk with your stylist to alter the haircut to suit your individual needs. My laptop screen is broken. It's been broken since August. So I can't open it more than 45 degrees. I personally have started to go for more of a shag haircut, which has more layers than a wolf cut and overall has a more texturized look. So when I'm getting a haircut, I will show my stylist. These are the details, okay? Get out the notepad. I will show my stylist a picture of my hair at the length that I want it because I have so many pictures of myself. It's ridiculous. And I'll just emphasize, like, I want layers, I want texture, I want bangs I can push out of the way. I also get a middle part. She also takes a lot of weight out of my hair with a razor, which is necessary for me because otherwise I look bulbous. My hair's grown out a little bit, so I'm fighting the bulb allegations as we speak. You can always use a picture of me if you want to show your stylist. Haircut inspo. I don't care. You can use a picture of me. You don't need to ask me permission to do that. I'm not gonna be mad. We are also getting into mullet territory here. So if you keep the cut short on the top and the sides and then longer in the back, that's the mullet shape. With a modern mullet, there tends to be a less strict contrast between the top and the sides and then the back of the hair than there was when it came to popularity in the 80s. There definitely tends to be more of a feathered look now with those texturized layers like you would get with a shag. My UK viewers are screaming and covering their ears. I love you guys too. I love you. What do you call it? Is it the same word? Probably. Sexy. And for natural hair, we are starting to get into more like braided options. Of course, still twists and locks. And you can play with different face framing and overall hair shapes and different styling in terms of bandanas, headbands, beads, charms, etc. If you're at a loss, I think once again, that shape of like shorter on the sides and then longer on the top and the back, like that's gonna be good. And specifically about the charms in the hair, I think this could work really well for the androgynous vibe because jewelryifying something is typically seen as like a feminine thing. So if you pair that with like a slightly more mask hairstyle or just like other kinds of like mask presentation, I think this could work really well for the androgynous vibe. And this is once again kind of part of styling. So it's not really about the haircut you're getting. And for everyone, styling makes a big difference. Like I said, with the short hair, pomade to spike it out. But styling could also be putting some clips in your hair or a bandana. If you wear a bandana across the front of your forehead, that's a more masculine look. Whereas if you wear it with the curve of your natural hairline, that is typically seen as more feminine. Even just changing the positioning of the piece of fabric makes a difference in how you might be perceived. For long hair, I'm gonna need to change my SD card. So 1 second. Welcome back. For long hair, the shag and the mullet continue, as well as the wolf cut. One of my friends has or had the hair that is basically the grown out wolf cut. I also had that at one point. It's just like long layered hair. Long hair is fun because you can put it up, you can do buns, you can do all sorts of things. Especially if you have long hair and you pull the front to the back to do like a little half up look and the rest of your presentation is more masculine. At this point, I'm just gonna keep talking so that I can show you some pictures of some inspo. There are a ton of different like ways you can do like textured long hair, and I kind of gave up when I got to this point in my script writing. I also literally had to save all of these photos from Pinterest one by one. There were over 150 of them, and I didn't even use them all in this video. So what is the takeaway? There are so many ways to wear your hair if you want a more androgynous look. You are not limited to one style. If you want my advice, make it messy. Okay, I love you all. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, or don't. Either way, I will see you in the next one. Shall I play you a song? I don't know which one's gonna come out of my mouth this time.
I think I have feelings, it's such a distraction, cause he's sort of evil. It says on the package that arrow reflects the art of seduction. But if it's my ego, I think I could have him, and I am a villain. I'll give you a challenge. I'll push my thumbs in where I know that you want them. I'm lying to my friends, I'm saying I have plans, cause I had a vision. You would text me this weekend.